released their rankings of their like the top three. What was it? Oh, it was their top three highest rated anime episodes of the year. Two of them being One Piece, and the other one being the Demon Slayer finale. The number one spot went to the Shanks versus Luffy. My bad. Shanks versus Kid fight. The number two spot went to the Demon Slayer finale. The number three spot went to Luffy versus Lucci. And I'm not gonna lie, like the point differential is like close. So like the number one spot, which is Shanks versus wow, Shanks versus Kid was 9.9. The Demon Slayer finale was 9.8, and then I think the Luffy versus Lucci was like 9.6 or something like that. So it's
They gave
literally
it
like a point
9.9.
one differential. But like I feel like if Shanks versus Kid was a 9.9, then the Demon Slayer finale should have been a 10. Like at that point. Like it's a little bit longer. There's a lot more story to it. The animation is, I mean, they're neck and neck animation wise. I would probably give animation to Demon Slayer only because there's more. Like it wasn't just like that, like because their whole claim to fame in that episode was pretty much Shanks' future sight and then
Hmm.
soloing the kid fleet. But Demon Slayer, like you had the Muzan explosion, you had Guillaume versus Muzan for a second. You had the Infinity Castle. Like I gotta give it like now on top of that too, like the music, like the characters, you got to see each character and how they reacted to everything that was going on. Like if they gave that last One Piece episode 9.9, then you have to give the Demon Slayer one a 9.9 or 10 or above because like it was like literally cinematic. Like that should have been on the big screen. Like I would have watched that in theaters and been happy about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's somebody at IMBD that's like a One Piece fan, obviously. Like, and don't get me wrong, this doesn't take anything away from the Shanks versus Kid fight, but those are just they're two totally different things, like two totally
Yeah.
different episodes. Like that, the Shanks vs. Kid was a moment in the episode, like, but the whole Demon
Yep.
Slayer finale was a moment in itself. Like
Yeah.
Chef's Kiss, you feel me? So that's how I feel about it. I don't know what y'all think.
I think it really just kind of comes down to like what style of like animation you prefer. Cause like when you really think, cause like one is more has like little like CGI, a little more 3D elements into it, and like nice color palettes, and with the composition. But like it's I really just feel like it comes down to the art style and what you prefer, and like the fluidity of certain things. Cause like me personally, I'm a little bit more biased towards Ufotable's work just because I grew up watching more of their stuff. But and I think they put a little bit more effort into it.
Mm-hmm.
That's just my opinion. But like they both went crazy. But I think that
Mhm.
one should have been listed a little bit higher in my opinion.
Yeah.
That actually I have a question now. That made me think of something. So, a lot of the pushback I've been seeing about the Demon Slayer episode versus the Shanks vs. Kid episode is that the Demon Slayer episode had a lot of CGI and like they were saying that you can't compare the two animations because one is like computer generated and one of them is a little bit more like
Drawn.
2D.
drawn, I
Yeah.
guess or 2D or whatever. So like people were saying, oh, like you can't count the Demon Slayer episode as having better animation because it was all CGI. Like isn't animation just animation? Like I get it, I
Yeah,
guess, but
there's different forms of animation. Like there's different subcategories, but like they still did draw over some of the animation. Like it wasn't just like pure like you see it from like a Pixar or like Disney movie. Like there's still like way more other like layers of drawing and stuff on that shit. So like I don't know. Sometimes
Hope.
niggas just be nitpicky
that's
and just to
cope.
say
That's
some
cope.
shit.
That's like the whole
Hope.
auto
Yeah.
tune argument. You feel me? Like if the music sound good, the music sound good. You feel me? Like I don't give a fuck if
Yeah.
one person using auto tune and one person's not. If the song bang, the song bang. You feel me? Like
Yep.
Yeah.
that's just you hating at that point. Like
But
I don't know.
also, like compare it from like this perspective too. I think Demon Slayer did a better job with their 3G, like their 3D animation compared to One Piece doing their job with their 2D animation. Honestly, like I think like also Shanks versus Kid, like what you said, it was a moment in the episode that stood out. The Demon Slayer finale in general, even when they weren't throwing hands, was still entertaining as hell because Ubuyashiki was talking his shit to Muzan, bro.
Yeah.
And that whole conversation, I'm just like, Muzan, you gonna let him talk to you like that? Like, bro, I almost had to grab the popcorn and like
bro, facts, bro. Yap for a good 20 minutes, and like every minute was engaging. Like, and part of it was the use of the camera angling, the music,
Hmm.
like. There's so much that goes into it that I feel like if you're IMBD ranking which episode was better, like it's not just which had more hype, or because I think part of it too is people feel like the Hot Show Training arc didn't have as much hype. So like, which is kind of what Marcus was saying earlier about some of the One Piece rankings from last year. Like some of those moments just had a lot of hype attached to it, you know. But like the Demon Slayer just was a more full episode. Like the music scoring, again, the
Complete.
animation, the character, camera angles. Like it, like you can get like really minute details that were just like everything was pristine. Like everything was
Yep.
extremely intentional. Like you can tell that everything was super thought out of. There was a huge storyboard of how we're gonna do this episode and make it as big as possible.
Yeah.
Like again, not taking away from the Shanks versus Kid episode, but like the Demon Slayer episode was a movie, literally.
Yeah.
You know, so
Absolutely.
yeah.
That's how I feel about it too. And honestly, if I'm gonna be honest, if we're talking about fights, I think I prefer the Luffy versus Lucci fight over the Shanks versus Kids fight.
I do too.
That
'Cause it
ain't
was an
crazy
actual
to
fight.
say.
Yeah, it was an actual fight. Like
Yeah.
we love seeing Shanks because we never get to see Shanks, and every time we get to see him, it's like a blessing. But like we actually got to see some real back and forth. We got to see the Wanky Gear 5 animation. We actually got to see
Yeah.
some good hands. Like they were actually throwing them things. You know what I mean? Like good
Yeah.
choreography. Like it was cool seeing Lucci's growth because Lucci had awakened his devil fruit. Like I would actually, I'm glad you said that because I didn't even think about that. I would probably put that right there with the Shanks and Kid episode. Like if you gave Shanks vs. Kid a 9.9, then you probably should give that episode a 9.8 at least, or
Yeah.
9.9.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Um, I don't know. That's my 2 cents.
Yeah.
IMDb also just be doing recency bias too, though. Like,
Yeah, I can see
It
that.
might
I
drop
can see
down. It might drop down after a bit, like that
that. Does that
episode.
happen? Does that
Yeah,
happen?
it usually
Yeah.
does.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, I
Yeah.
guess we'll see.
We'll see. But it usually doesn't stay like that forever.
Yeah. Someone said that the solo leveling finale should have been higher. It was ranked. I think it had a 9.1 rating or whatever, and I was like, I could see maybe 9.3, 9.4. But I feel like the episode before the finale was really the hitter. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
So
agree with that. I
I
agree with
think
that.
that's what it is. Like if that was one long episode, then I think it might have done better ratings wise. But I think a
Yeah.
lot of like the build up happened at the episode before. So
but I ain't gonna lie. As a whole, like there was not an episode that missed during that first season of Solo Leveling either. So it's just like,
Besides the recap.
the 7.5 episode or whatever.
oh, I mean, I didn't watch that, but like, I didn't even count it. But I'm like, pretty much, there was not an episode that really missed with that. So like, it's kind of hard to like, okay, like
There
all
was
of them.
maybe one like where nothing was happening.
Yeah, it was just a slow like exposition type deal.
But that was like really it though.
Yeah, out of 12
Yeah,
episodes, I ain't gonna lie, that's pretty good.
Nah, they cooked. They
Yeah,
cooked.
I definitely think it should have been higher, maybe the 9.1, but I digress.